All right, 339 for 9. You would think this was business as usual. England in a parallel universe, you would have said that, wow, this is a total that is right up England's alley. But 7 matches too late. Because Ben Stokes, believe it or not, for the first time in his World Cup career, he has hit 100. First World Cup 100 and a wonderful 50 from Chris Stokes. Their partnership ensured that England recovered from yet another top order mishap. And that is why 339 for 9. Netherlands may probably wondering, maybe 30-40 runs too much.
Probably 50-60 runs too much. I think with Netherlands, the way they bat, and I know they have a deep batting lineup, but the way they bat, I think 270, 280 would be chases they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Anything over and above that might be a stretch because they'll need someone to be really aggressive. Again, chasing 340 means you're chasing at about 6.8.
6.8, yeah.
Yeah, that's not easy. Means you're starting at nearly 7. You can ill afford to kind of take your time and bide your time.
Yes.
Even though the Pune track, let me remind you, pretty good batting track, hasn't really looked like it's going to be developing any demons. Because again, most England wickets were almost down to them throwing their wickets away. It had nothing for the bowlers, really, nothing for the bowlers.
At 192 for 6, the Netherlands would have fancied a chance because remember, the England top order was done. But this is where their deep batting came to the fore, and the partnership was worth about 129, if I'm not mistaken, between Chris Stokes and Ben Stokes. And that is why the Stokes and Stokes combo have ensured that England at least have a total to defend. Netherlands, on the other hand, remember, there is a slight bit of optimism because they did chase down 374 against the West Indies in the World Cup qualifiers in Zimbabwe.
Correct.
But remember, that ground small, that pitch flat, this Pune deck slightly up and down, bigger boundaries. This England bowling lineup possibly
You say better than West Indies.
Slightly better than the West Indies at this point. But remember, this match might just be, you may say, a footnote. Because remember, the same England batting lineup, 11th of November, Kolkata versus Pakistan. Now, if they peak, if the England batting and bowling attack peak at this time, then it's bad news for Pakistan.
Then no Kudrat Ka Nizam. Forget about Kudrat Ka Nizam.
Because see, one Kudrat Ka Nizam might work in their favour on 9th. The rain in Bengaluru might ensure New Zealand and Sri Lanka might get away only with only 1 point. So that Kudrat Ka Nizam is there. But on the other hand, if you look at it, England peaking, it's yet another Kudrat Ka Karishma then in that sense, not Kudrat Ka Nizam. So in that way, if you look at it, the England performance today, it's not good news for Pakistan then, because a total like this 340, 350, remember, if they have to chase, then they have to do it in T20 style. They have to chase it on in 20 or 30 overs to overall New Zealand's tally.
Exactly, because the key isn't can they chase that down. Yeah, as they proved against New Zealand, they can chase that down. But are you going to be doing it in the allotted overs?
Yeah.
Because with Pakistan, it isn't just about get the win and you're in. No, they need to do it with a certain time, and more importantly, they have to boost that net run rate. Net run rate is the major, let's say, issue that is plaguing them, because whatever it is that they are going to be chasing or whatever it is they're defending, both will have to be by a big margin.
Yes.
It cannot be a small win. Even if they just echo out a win against England, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because England have lost so many games.
It will matter. If New Zealand-Sri Lanka game gets abandoned, then Pakistan can win by even 1 run, 1 ball, 1 wicket.
Because they'll get to?
Yes, they can do that. So Pakistan, if it rains in the New Zealand-Sri Lanka encounter, then and only then they can get a chance.
Which is tomorrow, if my memory
is tomorrow. Right? 11th is the game between Pakistan and England in Kolkata. That is where you'll be thinking, okay, let us just ensure that we can win, so that that game, if it's washed out, it's all in our hands. But even chasing 340 against an England bowling lineup might be a very, very tall task for Pakistan.
Yeah, I mean, even chasing it down. And when you say that, let's assume they do so in 50 overs. Even that is a lot. It would take a superhuman effort from them, and they need the flattest of flat decks.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you saw what they did to the New Zealand bowlers in Bangalore. But the Bangalore track was an absolute road, national highway.
And small boundaries.
And smaller boundaries. With Eden, there is a smaller square boundary, but some of the boundaries really, it kind of is deceptively long. So not every single time you're going to be having those boundaries that you can exploit. That's the other difference. Unlike in say Bangalore, where pretty much everywhere you hit, you can clear the boundaries if you've hit it hard enough.
So, a certain Ben Stokes might have gotten inspiration from Glenn Maxwell, looking at the way...
He was very much effusive in his praise for him on social media.
He started similarly also, 52 or 58 balls, but the next 56 runs came in 28 balls. He was just going after the bowling in a big way. And remember, one of the shots was classical Glenn Maxwell. I mean, he reverse swept. I think it was Basdalera.
Yeah, and I think that was the ball which he got his 100. Because he went for that reverse. It wasn't a sweep, it was more like a reverse flick that it ended up going between shot third and the keeper. Gets his 100. 96 he was on and he got the 100.
And he goes, so everybody might be inspired by the way how Glenn Maxwell played that day. And remember, Ben Stokes also took his time, then accelerated and used some unconventional shots. I mean, I've never seen Stokes. I think he did it to Nathan Lyon
a
once.
lot. Yeah.
But I think of a pacer, he's never done that often.
Yeah, I mean, he normally goes for his reverse sweeps and everything off the slow bowlers.
Yeah.
Today he was trying it off the medium pacers, which tells you that he did think, okay, I'm set enough now. In fact, I would say to a lesser degree, Wokes did the same thing. He was very circumspect early on. He only freed himself up later once he was nearing that 50. He said, okay, now there's not many balls left. It's not like I'm getting to 100. He went for the ramp shot. Then he went for some big hits down the ground. So he took his time too. And I think a lot of England batters can learn something by observing how they batted. Get your eye in, assess the conditions, then go all out. Don't look to go all out from ball one just because. That's what's been missing throughout this World Cup.
Exactly. I mean, but one thing has remained constant with this England batting lineup. Right from the start till now, barring the first game where David Malan hit that century, the top order.
Even today, Malan was the lone warrior in the top order. Johnny Bairstow, 15 or 17. I think he's had one of the most woeful runs in recent memory that I remember, because this is a guy who could guarantee you at least 3-4 big scores in a tournament. He's got none this time around. Joe Root, what was he thinking? This is where I find that Joe Root's probably gone over a little too much on the other side as far as his baseball tendencies. Like, God, you have such a good classical technique. Sometimes use that, it's okay. Then Harry broke another disappointing run. Josh Butler, less said the better. Moeen Ali also went for a dumb shot and got out. Actually, at that point, you're thinking, if they get to even 250, it's an accomplishment, and 250 is very chaseable. Were it not for that partnership from Wokes and Stokes, they wouldn't have been looking at these runs, England.
I mean, I was just looking at Joe Root. I mean, okay, he tried a reverse ramp. The same shot that had given him so much success in Test cricket. Against the likes of Wagner, against the likes of Scott Boland. But here, he tried, but the ball snuck in between.
Yeah, because it didn't bounce. There was no bounce. It skidded.
It skidded. And it just snuck past. I mean, I can't mention
it
from
snuck
where.
Past the family jewels.
Yes. And that's where he got bowled. I mean, it was the most embarrassing dismissal that I can think of ever. Because how do you do that? I mean, why did you...
Ever will forever be Inzamam.
Oh yeah.
Sweep, trying to sweep, loses his balance, hits the wickets.
But why did he want to attempt that kind of a shot?
Understand. That's the thing. That's the thing I say. There's a difference between controlled, calculated aggression and mindless aggression. Too often than not, I don't think England's batters are able to go for the controlled aggression. You saw what Stokes and Wokes did. That was controlled. They took their time. They wore down the bowlers, then went for the attack. Every single one of these guys has their bird. Okay, fine. You can say in the likes of a Bairstow or Malan, openers, your job is to go bang bang. You're gonna have hits and misses. With Bairstow, unfortunately, there's only been misses. Malan has had a couple of good matches, but even that's not been enough.
But Bairstow is a good player of spin, right?
Yeah, that's I think one of the main reasons he's kind of. But ironically, got out to an off spinner of all things.
That too, he didn't try he's not been sweeping much. He's not been using the slots.
Yeah, he went for like a meek sort of
a pull shot with stop edge to short fine leg. I mean, this is not the Johnny Bairstow that we know.
Confidence is lacking.
Confidence is lacking, and that's why, look, England's batting might have peaked at slightly the right time if you want to look at Champions Trophy qualification.
Yeah, because if they get 2 wins, then they're pretty much in. 2 wins.
Yes, they need 2 wins. Provided Bangladesh don't beat Australia.
That seems a bit unlikely now with no Shakib also.
No Shakib, and with Maxwell in such good form.
Yeah, and he loves, I think, playing against Bangladesh.
He does. So that's why England will have to win these 2 games to ensure that they go through to the Champions Trophy, because if Pakistan beat them, then I think they're not making it.
No. Then no.
They aren't. So Europe might not be represented in the Champions Trophy in 2025.
Very interesting.
Because England and Netherlands might not make it. And I don't think the Netherlands are beating India. On current form, this Indian cricket team is on a different level. But Pakistan,
If they're getting South Africa out for 80 odd, Netherlands really should be afraid. Really afraid.
yeah, I mean, they got out Sri Lanka for 55 and they got out South Africa for 83. The highest score, by the way, in this World Cup that any team has hit against India is 282.
Exactly, and that was Afghanistan.
Afghanistan on a road in Delhi.
Yeah, and that too also, actually a lot of teams aren't taking a leaf out of their book. They were also kind of conservative at times.
Yes.
They look to play out the tougher bowlers, look to take on when it mattered the most, run hard. A lot of teams haven't done that. So they've struggled.
273 that New Zealand hit, but they could have gotten 300 had that collapse not happened.
That lower order collapse. Yes.
Mohammad Shami. So that's why. But today Ben Stokes showed that when the situation is slightly down, like he was the lone warrior even against Australia also.
Yeah.
But what was that shot that he attempted of Zampa?
That was a terrible shot because again it's wide, it's short. Literally you can either leave it or if you're going to go for it, go full blooded. He didn't either. He didn't leave it and then kind of poked at it. Obviously, you're going to find the fielder.
And you could hear in that entire Narendra Modi Stadium, and despite the loud noise, you could hear that guttural roar from Ben Stokes. No! Oh no! That's the thing. So, Malan and Stokes, two left-handers, if you look at it, they have been the lone bright stars for England in this World Cup.
As far as the batting are concerned, as far as the bowlers, I'll give a shout out to David Willey. Yeah. I think he's been probably like far and above their best bowler, most consistent. And I think early on he wasn't starting because Reece Topley was part of the lineup.
Yep, but he's gone. David Willey is going to say bye-bye from international cricket after this because I think he was not treated well by the...
No, he's the only member of the current squad who didn't get a central contract. So obviously they were kind of looking beyond him, which is a bit of a shame because again, if you've given the likes of Moeen Ali and all contracts, what has David Willey done wrong?
Yep.
Willey, and to be fair, okay, good on him. If he's retiring, that means he'll probably end up becoming a T20 league freelancer. He'll play the 100, he'll play his domestic cricket, make good money there.
I think with what we saw with Glenn Maxwell's knock yesterday, we saw how Ben Stokes was inspired with the reverse paddle. I mean, the clean hitting that he had. I think there is a new template now, a new era in ODI cricket, which could see its revival in the near future. Maybe. Who do you think, apart from Stokes, who could do it, but he's retiring anyways from ODI cricket after this, who can do a Maxwell in all the current teams that are there? If you say from India to Pakistan to Sri Lanka to Australia to New Zealand.
India actually has a lot of batters who can. Sky, I'm not so sure because again he has yet to show that he can play long. Sky, no, but Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul, they can take it long.
The Maxwell template of just those reverse sweeps, those shots, the audaciousness.
See, that's unique to players. How they attack is unique to players. But again, KL has shown you that he can bat long and then go aggressive. Shreyas has done the same in 2 games now, 2 straight games. Kohli is renowned for it. Shubman, yes, Shubman I think is a little different because Shubman, you're right actually. If he can see through the early phases, get really set in, his clean hitting, and he's in a classical way because his is not like, he's not going reverse ramps or anything. He'll go straight down the ground and clean sixes. India has a lot of batters who can do it.
For Pakistan, I think it could be Fakhar Zaman.
Fakhar, the thing with him is actually.
He's like the Glenn Maxwell of Pakistan. I mean, if he pulls it off, it can be spectacular. But when he fails, it's spectacular. That's why I think Fakhar Zaman good for New Zealand.
So there are plenty of batters there too.
Glenn Phillips,
Daryl Mitchell,
Rachin Ravindra,
Devin Conway. You haven't seen it enough from Conway in this World Cup. I've been disappointed with him. He had that one good knock against England and that's it.
Yeah.
He can do that. Yeah, he can do that. He's not someone, he can be aggressive early, yes. And I think that's one problem I find with him is that if he's not aggressive early and he bats long, he tends to get bogged down. Yeah. He'll look for that one get out of jail shot and it'll either kickstart his innings or end it. Yep. So in between. So there's a lot of players in the world who can.
What about England? That Ben Stokes is retiring. That's why.
Malan probably, but beyond that, I don't see anyone. They need someone in the middle order. I would want Brook to be that person, but he also seems very wedded to that be aggressive kind of mentality.
But I think, as they say, Liam Livingstone.
An informed Livingstone, yes, but he's been woeful in this World Cup. Woeful, averaging 10. If we talk about Josh Butler averaging 15, this man's averaging 10.
10. That's
Terrible.
the problem. And Livingston also, remember, had a great start. Brook, great start across formats. But now I think slowly but surely they are being
figured out. Brook especially, I think what really exposed him was his IPL. That very obvious weakness against any kind of spin bowling really got to him.
Yes, IPL. That is the Achilles heel for him, and that's why Ben Stokes is brilliant 108. Too late in the tournament, but yeah, he did show glimpses of it in the game against Australia. If he was there, I think they could have very well chased.
They could have, because Australia also would have. I mean, come on, this is a lot of that Australia team have been a part of the Ashes, and they've seen him pull it off in Headingley, almost pull it off at Lords.
Yeah.
So you know that this man has that ability that he can single-handedly drag them back from the dead. So having him there, even if he's not batting well, it's a psychological thing. So he has that ability, and Netherlands found that out the hard way today. They got everyone else, but they couldn't get Stokes because he defended his wicket well. Then when the time came, he accelerated.
And that's why this England performance, Pakistan could be worried.
Should be worried, because again, their bowlers haven't exactly been in the greatest of form either.
Exactly. So that is the current situation. If England win, then it's simple. If it's a Pakistan-England clash, and if New Zealand lose to Sri Lanka tomorrow, that's all to play for Pakistan.
Exactly. Then even a one-run win of the last ball does the trick for them, because it's down on points.
Exactly. So let's see how England do it. I think they've very much wrapped it up this game. Let's see how their bowlers
respond. I mean, to be fair, I was saying 305 should be winnable. 340, I think they should win it by about 100 runs, bare minimum. And if they get a couple of early wickets, and with Netherlands, they have that ability, or rather that habit, let's say, to collapse the middle order.
Okay, so remember, only 3 more teams are there in the fray now. Afghanistan, hope New Zealand lose, Pakistan lose, then they beat South Africa, they go through. For Pakistan, New Zealand lose, Afghanistan lose, they beat England, they go through. New Zealand beat Sri Lanka, hope South Africa beat Afghanistan, that's game over. Hope England beat Pakistan, or if Pakistan win,
by close margin.
Yeah, just by close margin. So we'll be back for the mid innings for the match end, but now at 7, join us for the dugout. A very special big show is coming up in that. So join us for the dugout at 7. We'll be back very, very shortly. From me and Shane here, it's bye-bye.